everyone, and welcome to MasterClass, a unique conversation between young filmmakers from around the world and an established storyteller, brought to you by Google Plus and the Ghetto Film School. Ed Burns is here with us. Ed, thank you for joining us.
Hey, thank you very much, Gloria, for having me. Awesome. Hopefully I'll be of some help to you guys today. I'm going to start by just telling you a story about when I worked on Saving Private Ryan and what really changed my approach to how I worked with actors. So I had directed 3 films before showing up on the set of Private Ryan, and that was the first film that I had ever acted in that wasn't something that I had written and something that I was directing. And for about 2 weeks, Spielberg basically gave us about 2 or 3 takes on every scene that we did. And he never gave us any direction at all. And then finally, there was a scene about 2 weeks into the shoot where he had us do a 4th take and a 5th take. And then after the 5th take, he started to give us some direction. And finally, after about 12 takes, he thought he had the scene, and we moved on. So that day at lunch, myself with a bunch of the other actors, of course, wanted to go and find out, why today suddenly he gave us some direction. And his explanation was, he goes, because today you didn't know what the hell you were doing. You want your actors to feel safe. You want them to feel safe in your hands, because you're going to ask them to step out onto the ledge a number of times. So if they are doing something that you don't love, give them the opportunity to explore it. Burn 2 takes or 3 takes that you know you're not going to use. All right, you know you're never going to use those takes, but for the sake of your actor's sanity and confidence, allow them to go there. And then say, hey, look, that was great. As a safety, would you mind doing one as scripted, or doing one that's a little funnier or a little bit more angry? Sometimes I do my Bobby De Niro trick on them, where I just say, oh, do you remember that scene in Raging Bull where Bobby D did this? And, most actors haven't watched Raging Bull in 20 years. So a lot of times I'll just make it up and say, he did that thing where he kind of played it really soft and down. And they're like, oh, yeah, really, did De Niro do that? And I'll be like, yeah. And like, oh, okay, I can try that. So that's another good trick to use.
That's pretty awesome. Before the class started, the guys created a creative assignment, and it was to base their 2-minute story according to this scenario. Character A enters, character A wants something from character B, character B doesn't want to give it to them, and then character B exits.
My story concept is a comedy. It's about a brother and sister battling out for the car keys for the night. And how they try to get the car keys is by using dirty secrets they have on each other that the parents don't know about. It becomes a contest to see who has the better secret.
Okay, all right. So it's probably more of a dialogue-driven comedy than a physical comedy?
Yeah, exactly.
So, for something like this, obviously the best thing you can do is hire funny people, and if they're going to be doing a scene that's sort of one-upmanship, you might want to find some actors who are pretty comfortable with improvising. I'm sure your dialogue is really funny and great, but if you get 2 actors who are good at sort of riffing and playing off one another, they might be able to take your stories and then start to embellish and come up with some stuff that you didn't anticipate or couldn't have imagined that could also be very funny. And I would encourage, in a comedy, it's great to encourage your actors to play and to find some things, especially if you've got a scene like this where you're doing sort of verbal sparring. The other thing, if you are comfortable with that, depending on, when you do allow actors to improvise, you just got to be mindful of your shot selection. If you come up with a nice sort of, let's say, moving 2-shot where you can hold the 2 of them in the frame, you then can just use your best singular take, kind of like a Woody Allen style, where basically he'll play out a whole scene where he holds both actors in the same frame the entire time. That way, you don't have to worry about, let's say you were shooting an over the shoulder on your female character, and she improvises some great stuff. Then when you turn around and you're doing the matching shot on your male actor, you can't really remember what the improv was.
Yeah.
So that might be something just to be mindful of if that's what you're dealing with. But again, you know, I mean, a dialogue-driven comedy, best thing is hire funny people. The most important thing you can do as filmmakers is, you know, is good casting. You know, like, don't, you should be tireless in trying to find the right actors for your piece. Because, you know, people say, you know, good filmmaking is 75% casting, or good filmmaking is like 75% good casting. I would say it's probably even more like 95. And when you listen to a guy like Woody Allen, speaking of him, I don't know if you saw the documentary recently about him, he doesn't give his actors any direction. Very rarely will he give them direction, and he even allows them, if you can believe this, I mean, the guy writes the greatest dialogue, he allows them to change the dialogue. He says he just tries to find the best actors and get the hell out of their way. And they're, you know, I mean, I know it's a strange concept to get your head around as a young filmmaker. But, you know, I've done 11 movies now, and I can tell you the best stuff I get is when I back off and let them do their thing.
For more information on upcoming Hangouts, or if you watching at home want to be a student in a future Hangout, just visit ghettofilm.org. Thank you, and see you in class.